confided to the custody of the tipstaff, to be by him taken to the warden of the Fleet Prison, and there detained until the amount of the damages and costs in the action of Bardell against Pickwick was fully paid and satisfied. And that, said Mr. Pickwick, laughing, will be a very long time. Charles Dickens, The Pickwick Papers. The ultimate hidden truth of the world is that it is something that we make and could just as easily make differently. David Graeber, The Utopia of Rules. In the laundry of the Danville Regional Medical Center in Southern Virginia in 1995, Miss Wilson folded hospital gowns. 5 days a week, it was her task to turn the piles of dirty laundry, towels, gowns, and scrubs into neat, clean stacks. At age 68, she was older than most people who performed such relentless physical labor. She had not planned to have such a job at her age. And to be honest, it was not a job, not really. For at the end of each week, the hospital did not send her a paycheck. Grieving the recent death of her husband after a prolonged hospitalization, Miss Wilson faced medical debt she could never hope to repay on her fixed income. Danville gave her the option of entering its service credit program, in which patients owing between $300 and $20,000 were put to work typing, filing, housekeeping, landscaping, and printing. For their labor, they earned $5 per hour toward settling their debts. Net pay is applied directly to the bill, so no cash changes hands, explained an upbeat front-page article in the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Nowhere in the article was the possibility mentioned that the medical center, a nonprofit, could simply write off the unpaid debts of low-income patients as charity care. Later in the article, the service credit program was lauded as a working cure, without a hint of irony. Perhaps most striking was the fact that the hospital leadership was proud of this program. It was, after all, a rather dystopian scheme that would recoup through the manual labor of a poor widow the costs incurred during the medical care of her late husband. It helped low-income patients who want to retain their dignity and protect their credit rating and do the right thing about eliminating a bill, said one hospital executive. He bragged that they had fielded inquiries from 40 hospitals about starting similar initiatives. Dr. Thomas Massaro, a pediatrician and health policy scholar at the University of Virginia, called the service credit program ingenious for the mindset it establishes in the patient population that there are ways of exercising responsibility and control over your destiny. How could such a program come to be seen as a benefit to patients? In what kind of society would this modern-day indentured servitude win laudatory publicity from the regional newspaper and plaudits from health policy experts? To really see how this is possible, you have to understand what alternatives indebted patients faced, what repercussions they could expect if they did not take hospitals such as Danville up on their offers of unpaid labor. Facing an impending future of ruined credit, harassing phone calls, and legal trouble, Miss Wilson decided that working in the hospital laundry, inhumane and unremunerated as it was the best among her very bad options. There has always been inhumanity in American medical care. Societies marginalized have long dealt with varied forms of neglect and exploitation. But beginning in the 1980s, a rise in unpaid medical bills occurred alongside a transformation in how hospitals, including nonprofit hospitals, try to collect those debts. This book tells the story of how the collection of medical debt in the United States came to be so aggressive, and of the impact this is having on Americans' lives. For centuries, doctors were often unable to collect or declined to pursue unpaid bills. But during the past 4 decades, such debts in America have shifted from obligations negotiated by doctors and patients